the last banana out of the bowl to put on my cereal. Well, a few minutes later, my two big brothers came in. They said, "Hey, Kim, is that the last banana?" I said, "Yep," and I got it. How many of you have an older brother or sister? You know that wonderful feeling you get when you finally pull one over on them? Boy, that morning I had them, and I knew it. They wanted my banana. But big brothers do not beg little brothers for anything. They either beat him up and take it away by brute force, or they lie to him and trick him out of it somehow. So my brothers said, "Hey, Kent, do you know how bananas are made?" I said, "No." I was only 6 years old. It's been proven in laboratory tests the brain doesn't even start to grow until kids are 18 to 20. How many parents can verify that one from raising kids? Yeah. I said, "No, how are bananas made?" And they said, "Well, down in South America, they have these spiders that live up in the trees. And when they die, all their legs fold up, and then mold begins to grow on the dead spider legs. And a banana is actually made from moldy spider legs." I said, "You guys are lying to me. You just want this banana because you know it's the last one." They said, "No, brother, we're not lying. You cut that thing in half and look in the middle, you can still see the black spots where his legs were." You know, I did not eat bananas for nearly 3 years after that. They lied to me. Have you ever been lied to before? You know, I would not have believed that lie if it hadn't been for those black spots. If you want to get somebody to believe a lie, you have to mix it in with some truth. That's a technique they've been using for years to sell all sorts of different products. They mix two things together that do not belong together. That's what they do to kill rats. They mix good food and rat poison together. Did you know rat poison is 99.995% good food? There's very little poison in rat poison. But the poison is what kills them, of course. They mix two things together that simply don't belong together. They do the same thing to sell cigarettes. They mix them in with cowboys. Have you stopped and thought about that? What is the connection between smoking Marlboro and cowboys? Do all cowboys smoke Marlboro? No. Do you have to smoke Marlboro to be a cowboy? No. If you start smoking Marlboro, do you become a cowboy automatically? No. You may smell like a horse, but you are not a cowboy. Actually, it's been proven in laboratory tests that nobody in the world smokes. Nobody smokes. Only the cigarette smokes. The person is the sucker. That's all. I think they ought to have some truth in advertising. They should put the real name on those things. They should call them cancerettes, breath rotters, bypass, malignant, phlegm balls, and money suckers. Truth in advertising. You know, but they do the same thing to sell beer. They try to associate beer with sports. What does beer have to do with sports? They always get some big old football player standing there holding his can of Bud Dummer. Or Bud Stupid. You know, they call it Bud Wiser, but it don't make him any wiser, that's for sure. He's got his Bud Dummer, Miller Low Life, or Dead Dog, whatever it is. He says, "Man, you drink this stuff and you'll be a football player." Yeah, right. The Bible says you drink that stuff and you will wreck your life. Who hath woe? They that tarry long at the wine. How many lives have been ruined from alcohol? How many innocent lives have been ruined because somebody else was drinking and ran into them or ran over them or something? The Bible says don't even look at it when it becomes fermented. Habakkuk said, "Woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink." One kid said to me one day, he said, "What's the matter, Mr. Hovind? Don't you like beer?" I said, "I don't know. I've never tasted it. I'm 50 years old, never had a drop in my life." Well, I've had NyQuil a couple times. And he said, "Well, how do you know you won't like it if you don't try it?" I said, "Oh, son, that's a brilliant way to live. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever laid your head under a semi-truck?" Well, how do you know you won't like it if you don't try it? You don't have to try everything to figure out if it's good or bad. There's other ways to learn, you know. But this mixing of the good and the bad together is exactly what's going on in our science textbooks. Now, folks, I like science. I taught it for 15 years. I even have a PhD in education. Stands for post-hole digger. Got one. I'm not against science. I want two kids here that like science that would like to learn the scientific way to shoot a rubber band. Okay, right there, ma'am. Do you know how to do this already? No, come on up here. Come on up here. And one more. Let's get one boy up here. One boy that wants to learn the scientific way. You can do it. Come on. You want to learn this? You can be a movie star, too. People are going to see this all over the place. Now, what's your name?
Lindsay.
Lindsay, and this is?
Aaron.
Aaron. Let me get my rubber bands here. I just happen to have a few rubber bands. Okay, Lindsay, pick a rubber band out of there.
Okay.
And Aaron, right? I want you to see how far down the center aisle you can shoot that rubber band. Okay, Lindsay, go ahead.
Okay.
Right, yeah, right there. Oh, wow. About 8 rows back. Okay, Aaron. Ooh, about 9 rows back. Now, I know the scientific way to shoot a rubber band. In just a moment, you're going to ask me a question, and the question has 5 words in it. I already know the question that you're going to ask me. Watch this. Ready? Back row of the church. And the question is?
How'd you do that?
How did you do that? I told you, it had 5 words in it. Now, I am fully aware of the fact that some people should not learn how to do some things.
He's one of them.
He's one of them. She says he's one of them. Okay. Now pay attention. There are 2 sides to the rubber band. Are you with me so far? Okay. One side represents your flesh, your body. The other side is your spirit. What most people do wrong, and what both of you did wrong with rubber band shooting, you put the same emphasis on the flesh and the spirit. If you stretch both sides the same, when it goes through the air, if you could watch it in slow motion, they are fighting with each other all the way. So all the energy is being used up on internal turbulence. Not good. The secret to high-speed velocity through a fluid medium such as the atmosphere, which offers resistance, is to minimize or eliminate the turbulence. All I did differently when you weren't watching is I put one side tighter than the other, like this. This is tight, loose. It's okay. Now, what's going to happen, if you can release it quickly enough, it takes a little practice, but it'll spin through the air, taking away the turbulence, so the spirit actually leads the flesh. So when I'm standing up here speaking, realizing I can hit anybody in the room, it's an awesome feeling. You can understand that, can't you?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Hey, let's give him a big hand here. Have a seat. That is one of about 50 different science lessons we teach kids at our Dinosaur Adventureland, how to shoot the rubber band the scientific way. And some of you are not going to go very far in your life because you put too much emphasis on the flesh. Quit emphasizing the flesh so much and start emphasizing the spirit, and you'll be amazed what you can do for the Lord. When we get done here today, we're going to make some paper airplanes that'll go about 400 feet during the break time. You can get on our website and see how to make those under super long-distance airplanes. They're pretty cool, too. We like science. I'm not against science, folks, but I'm telling you, there's some poison mixed in with our science books. And that's what I want to show you today. I'm not against the science, I'm against the poison part. Here's a first grade textbook. They tell the kids in first grade, the earth has changed much since its formation 4.5 billion years ago. Now just hold on a minute. Is the earth 4.5 billion years old? No, as we'll see in a minute. But if you tell that to a first grader, he's going to believe you. First graders believe everything you tell them. They believe bananas are moldy spider legs. I did. And then tell them again in second grade, since its formation 4.5 billion years ago, Earth has changed. Down here it says, life too has evolved on Earth. This word evolved is a very tricky word. I've had 77 debates now at universities. I've learned how to win the debate in the first 5 minutes. If somebody says, do you believe in evolution? I simply say, what do you mean? Because there are 6 different meanings to that word. You let them define exactly what they mean, and you probably believe in it. Because one of the 6 meanings is indeed scientific, and I do believe in it. 5 of them are not scientific. They're silly. But they mix them all together like it's some kind of package deal, and you got to buy them all at the same time. This is how they confuse the kids. It's so simple. Now watch this. The first meaning of the word evolution would have to be cosmic evolution. Somewhere, somehow, time, space, and matter have to come into existence. The Bible answers that in 10 words. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. In the beginning, that's time. Time has 3 dimensions, past, present, future. You know you can't be any place and be outside of time. It permeates everything. In the beginning, God created the heaven. Heaven is 3 dimensions, length, width, height. And earth, matter has 3 dimensions, solid, liquid, gas. A trinity of trinities in only 10 words. You know, you can't have any one of those without the other 2. If you had matter but had no space, where would you put it? If you had matter and space but had no time, when would you put it? Those 3 come into existence simultaneously. The Big Bang Theory has to try to answer that. It's a dud. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you have to have what we call cosmic evolution. Secondly, there would have to be chemical evolution. If the Big Bang Theory is true, the Big Bang produced hydrogen and maybe some helium. Well, then how did we get all these other elements? People say, oh, it's done by fusion. Yeah, you can't get past iron with fusion. Better study that one out. Thirdly, we'd have to have what's called stellar evolution. The stars would have to evolve. Did you know nobody's ever seen a star forming? We see stars blow up all the time. It's called a nova or a supernova if it's a big one, but nobody's ever seen one form. One atheist I debated said, "Oh, we see a star forming right now in Crab Nebula." I said, "No, you don't. You see a spot getting brighter. You are assuming a star is forming. It could be the dust is clearing and there's a star behind it." Nobody's ever proven the formation of one star. And yet there's enough stars out there that we know about that everybody on planet Earth can personally own 2 trillion of them to yourself. Those are the ones we know about. We don't know about the ones that we don't know about. Fourthly, there would have to be organic evolution. Somewhere, somehow, life has to get started from non-living material. The evolutionist is stuck with a very embarrassing position. He still believes in spontaneous generation, even though it was proven wrong 200 years ago. They're way behind the time.